Hi again then guys, and so we've got another drag spec tune for Gran Turismo 6 for you today, and this time it's for a really popular model, the BMW M4 Pace Car. Now to be clear, this tune works for both the Pace Car and the regular model, so if you don't want to use the Pace Car, it works just fine on the regular M4 as well. So we've got racing soft tyres on this one. For suspension I've increased the ride height to 120 front and rear. Springs we've reduced to 450 and 575. For dampers we've got 3 on the front and 1 on the rear for compression, 3 on both for extension. Anti-roll as high as possible with neutral camber and toe. For the gearbox, an auto setting of 249, then for the individual gears we've set them to 4.8, 2.9, 2.1, 1.6, 1275, 1050 and 900 with a final drive of 2.5. For the diff we've got the lowest initial torque to keep wheel spin to a minimum, high acceleration and low braking sensitivity, all the power upgrades obviously, and we will be using NOS on this run, and of course the full weight loss package. I will be using an auto box as I usually do, but of course if you do use a manual, as many people like to, you can of course potentially be even quicker, and as always I would definitely recommend turning traction control off. So this is a seriously rapid car. I mean, it's got 1,000 horsepower, so it's not going to be slow, but I was actually surprised by just how quick this car actually is, because although I like the car, I hadn't really given it that much use as a drag model. But to show what this tune is capable of, I'm putting it up against a tune which I've put some of my other tunes up against in the past, the ever popular Supra, just to show how they compare, because I personally thought that the Supra would dominate this car in a straight line. But despite both cars having rear-wheel drive, this car does have a bit more power, but it absolutely, as you can see, annihilates the Supra off the line. But the really surprising thing is how long it stays ahead of the Supra for. I was expecting the Supra to catch up by around the 2,000 to 3,000 metre mark, but as you can see, this car is still leaving the Supra at least probably 10 car lengths behind. And in my initial test run against the Supra, this car can actually beat it by around 5,500 or around the 5,500 metre mark, which shocked me. To be honest, I did not expect it to lead for that long. As you can see, the top end on the Supra does give it an advantage overall, but up to around the 5,500, 5,600 metre mark, it beat the Supra, and it was holding it away very impressively. Now, as far as top end, it's never going to beat a Supra there, because the M4 unfortunately doesn't have the strongest of top speeds on its own. It's not quite on the same level as a Supra or a Corvette or that kind of thing. But for acceleration, as you could see, low end and mid-range, and even for the majority of its top end, it's a stonkingly quick car. Now, 0 to 60 on this model is 1.8 seconds. Incidentally, I would not recommend adding any ballast to this one. I tried it, didn't really make that much of a difference, it just hindered it top end. But getting back to the specs, as I said, 0 to 60 is 1.8 seconds on this model. It hits 100 in 3.6 seconds. 200 miles per hour in just over 10. It does an 8.3 second quarter mile, and it will even cover 4 miles from a standing start, or 6,400 meters, in under a minute. So seriously rapid, and despite the fact that it does have flashing lights on the top, it's kind of a sleeper car, because you don't really expect it, or at least I didn't expect it, to be that quick. I knew it was quick, but not Supra-beatingly quick. And overall, this car also has a pretty decent top speed with this setup, about 278, so not necessarily the strongest, because that's not what it's designed for, but it does 278, and it does, as you can see, ironically enough, have some draft potential as well. You can get it up to around 300 or a bit more with draft. So if you decide to use this drag tune, I hope of course you find it fun, and it's definitely competitive. And if you're new to the channel and would like to see new drag tunes and other tunes in general like this as soon as they're released, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And as always, thanks for watching.